Just quick opening statement. Disappointed in the way that we coached and played against UConn. Ran into a team that was playing really well, especially defensively. They were fresh, coming off a bye week, and we didn't play very good. I would be concerned had we not played hard. We played really, really hard. That's one thing this team does, is it plays really hard. The thing we didn't do, we didn't play very well. And the things that we know that determine whether you win or lose, we didn't do any of them. One of them, obviously, I've never won a football game in all my years as a coach, and I've polled our entire staff. Not one of us has ever won a game where you lost the turnover battle by 4. And we lost 4 to nothing in the turnover battle. And then one of our keys to success in any game is to run the football effectively and efficiently and then stop the run. And we didn't do either one of those on offense or defense. And then, again, it's right there, playing to win the turnover battle. Obviously, we were awful there. And score touchdowns and prevent touchdowns in the red zone. We gave up a red zone touchdown, and in our only trip in the red zone, we kicked a field goal. And the difference in the point total there. So was proud of the way that our guys played in terms of their effort. Very disappointed in the execution, and a lot of that falls on us as a staff as well. We've got to get better. We've got to get our guys able to execute better, and certainly also put them in positions to where they can be successful. So the good thing is, it's not a funeral. We lost a football game, and our goals that we set out at the beginning of the season to accomplish, which really was plain and simple to compete for and win our conference championship in the months of November and December, and we're certainly right on track to do that. So a little bump in the road. But we've got a short week. We don't have time to mope. The guys certainly mourned the loss Saturday night, as they should. It hurt. It hurt really bad, especially considering where we were at this point in our season. But nowhere on our goals did it say we wanted to go 12-0. It just says compete for and win our conference championship, and we've got an opportunity to take another step towards doing that this week against Navy. Okay, not great. Greg is getting better. Kyle's got a bit of a bone bruise on his knee. Structurally, everything checked out fine on the MRI and X-rays. So now it's just a matter of pain tolerance. So he'll go out and practice today, and we'll see what he can do. And Greg is closer to 100% right now, probably not quite there yet, but we've got to put somebody out there, and so it'll be one of those two guys. Kenneth Farrow with an ankle sprain. He's kind of day to day. Will not go through practice today, but hopefully have him back tomorrow. Cam Elliff, who missed the game, is we introduced it's got to be a school record, if not a national record, the 10th different offensive line starting lineup in 11 games. Cam Elliff did not play due to a concussion. He has cleared the protocol up until this point, so today he'll be out there doing football activities with no contact. Now, what that means for an offensive lineman is pretty limited, but assuming he gets through today with no setbacks, then he'll be cleared tomorrow. And then we've got Colton Freeman going to make another run at it this week to try to get back and help us up front.
Charles, obviously it's difficult, but the challenges of going up against their triple option, and have you been practicing it earlier, or is it going to be this week alone?
No, we had. Once the schedule came out, we knew this was going to be a very, very challenging week, and so what we did, we even had a few Navy periods during spring practice, but more so during training camp, we would designate, every other day or every third day, the defense would get about 15 to 20 minutes to just kind of introduce Navy to the defensive players. And then starting about 6-8 weeks ago on Sundays, we go out in no pads. We practice on Sunday, but without pads. It's a little bit of a lighter practice, and the defense has been introducing each Sunday. They'll spend 10 to 15 minutes on just one formation and the different plays that Navy runs out of that formation. The unique thing about them this year, I think through 10 weeks, they've shown 32 different formations. Normally these triple option teams are, you got one or two formations, and you got to defend the multiple plays out of those formations. But they do a really good job with their formations as well. So our guys have been introduced slowly to it, but it's I don't know that I would ever choose to play a triple option team on a short week ever again. I can promise you that.
Tom, I was going to ask you just what they do with that option. It's so diversified with Reynolds, and then it looks like they do some stuff out of motion and some of the stuff up front. I mean, is it not the? I mean, if you look at like a Georgia Tech or something, in terms of.
It's similar. No, they're of the same family. All of the flex bone teams. It originated really with the wishbone, and then with 3 backs in the backfield, and then kind of evolved into the double slot option, where they're kind of the 2 wing backs or slot backs they call them, and very similar that you'll see from them that Georgia Tech and some of the other teams that are really good at it. But although they are diversified, maybe more so than some, everything goes through that quarterback. He's a dude. He is arguably one of the greatest college players in the history of the game. Really, when you look at his numbers and what he's been able to accomplish throughout his career at Navy, very, very, highly acclaimed quarterback, and deservedly so.
Thoughts on Coach Niumatalolo and what he's done with that program to this point?
My thoughts are, I think it's pretty cool that you pronounced his name correctly. That's awesome. I just call him Coach Ken. No, he has done a marvelous job. Obviously, we all know the challenges in recruiting to one of the service academies in terms of the pluses are they get one of the best educations in all of the world, and they are extremely disciplined, and life after they graduate or after they serve in the military is usually a pretty good road for them because of the education they receive and the connections that they make. The hard part is you got to sell a 17-year-old kid on serving 4 years in the military once they completed their college education, and he's done a fantastic job. It's a hard job because of that. You have to recruit nationally. Obviously, the academic requirements to get in are extremely high. So to be able to perform at the level that he's performing, or has his team performing, knowing the challenges that he faces in recruiting, is a fantastic job by him.
Tom, from your earlier comment on the injuries, it would seem like you, at least for now, you've dodged some bullets, especially with depending on Farrow. But if he doesn't get through that week like you'd want, does that mean? I mean, obviously Javin and Khalid get more reps, but would you consider anything with some of the other guys that you haven't really used this year pulling up?
Well, we spent a long time talking about it, and obviously Josh Burrell and Kevin Justice's name came up. It'd be a shame to pull a red shirt off of a young man on the last regular season game, and it's just a shame the way the rules are set. I wish players had 5 years to play 5, and this situation is another argument for that case that these kids, we shouldn't have to worry about this. The kids should be able to play and not worry about, if I play in this one game this year, then I will have used an entire year of eligibility. That's just not fair to the kids. So we've got to make some hard decisions. Obviously, Josh and Kevin are more than willing to do whatever it takes for us to win the game. But we will also experiment a little bit, probably have a little package for Brandon Wilson as well.
What's the most important thing that you hope your players take from you as a coach or learn from you?
Well, that's a good question. Accountability. I think in today's society, it's really easy, in fact, sometimes even encouraged to point the finger at other people when things don't go your way. And I think the one thing that we have in our program is a tremendous amount of accountability, starting from the head coach, the assistant coaches, on down to the players and leaders of our team, that real grown, mature people say, hang on, I understand something went wrong, or we need to get better in this area, and it's going to start with me. And it's going to start with me and my improvement, and then I'm going to get my house in order before I decide to even look outside of my house. It does me no good to look outside of myself as I look to improve our team. So that accountability and just a competitive nature where losing is not okay. Life is a competition, and we've talked about it many times. Not just from a materialistic standpoint, competing for good jobs or a nice house or a good salary, but really competing against your own best self and trying to be the best at whatever it is that you do in order to be successful in life.
And I know you're the teacher in this scenario, but do you still learn from the players sometimes?
Every day. That's why that's why I've got the best job in America. These kids teach me. Sometimes remind is a better word. Things that I've learned in my journey through life that maybe sometimes you forget a little bit, and then you're reminded of by the way that they go about their business or approach certain things. But every day is a learning experience, and I don't know, was it Churchill that said, or somebody said, the day you stop learning is the day you stop living. And for us and our program, I think we take that very much to heart, including all of us old guys that are doing the coaching.
Understanding you've moved on since then, but it's been a long time since you've been a part of a team that suffered a loss. How did you deal with it personally in the aftermath?
Some things are unfit for print. It was hard. We don't like losing around here. I don't like losing. Nobody likes losing. I shouldn't make us sound like we're any different than most, but it's eye-opening. You go into complete introspection mode when you lose a game like that, and you ask a million questions of yourself, and what could you have done better? I've got pages upon pages of notes that I took within the 12 hours just immediately after the loss of things that I can do better, that us as a staff need to do better, that our players need to do better, and then you kind of pick yourself back up, and then you go to work on improving those things. And it was really it was hard. But if I'm moping around, I can't tell the kids, the players, hey, we got to move on. We don't have time to mope. We don't have time to mourn this loss. We used the phrase yesterday in our team meeting, we can't let UConn beat us twice. I firmly believe that. And if we dwell on that, we will have let that happen. And very similar to winning. Winning is an unbelievable high. It's an unbelievable, exhilarating feeling. But within 24 hours, you gotta shut it off and move on to the next one, or else you'll become complacent and you won't be as prepared or hungry the next week. And so the same is for losing on the other end of the spectrum. It hurts, it stings, it's painful. There was a lot of tears in the locker room, Sam, a lot, and it's because of how much this team and we have invested in this season. And but if we don't move on, if we don't move past it, if we don't have a great week of preparation, then we'll have let UConn beat us twice, and we can't let that happen.
Coach. A lot throughout the course of the season about how long the year is, how much of a grind it is, how difficult it is to win each week. Can you put into perspective then how much of a challenge and how much respect should go to the teams that do go through an entire season undefeated?
There's only 2 out of 128 right now. So, yeah, that's an amazing accomplishment to be able to finish a regular season undefeated. It just doesn't happen very much, you know. I don't know when the last undefeated team, in major college football was. I know, even last year, the team that I was a part of won the national championship, but we had a loss on our record, and it made us stronger. So I think sometimes, if used properly, losing can help you grow and help you learn. So I would certainly not choose it over the alternative, but it is in today's college football to see anybody go undefeated for an entire season. When you're talking about then conference championship games, and then now with a 2-game playoff, I mean, it's you're doing something pretty special if you accomplish that.
You talk about all the time how proud you are of their effort and the way they always compete out there. Has this team exceeded expectations?
Absolutely. From an effort standpoint,
or just overall? I mean, in any phase, really. From when you saw them at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we've won, just off the top of my head, 4 games against teams that were more talented than us. Louisville, top to bottom, had more talent than us. Vanderbilt, top to bottom, had more talent than us. Cincinnati, top to bottom, had more talent than us. Memphis, top to bottom, has more talent than us. What these guys do is they play really stinking hard. And they play for the love of the guy next to them, and they play with a passion and a purpose that I would put up against anybody else's in the country right now. And that's exciting because you always have a chance when you have some talent, which we do have. I don't want to make it sound like we're devoid of any talent. What I mean is those teams, top to bottom, probably a little bit more talented than us, and but our guys find ways to beat those teams with energy, effort, passion, purpose, and really fantastic training by their coaches and our coaching staff.
Tom, a couple of days later, you mentioned some of the questions that you ask yourself after a game like that. Any thoughts or what you saw in terms of not throwing more downfield, like you said?
Should have done it more.
In that game, was there a reason? Reason why?
I think, having called offensive plays for a long time, I think, I don't want to say human nature, I think coaching nature is when you're playing really good defense, which we were, aside from that first drive, we were playing good enough defense to win the game. On offense, I think it creeps into your mind, we don't want to be the side of the ball that screws this thing up. And obviously, throwing the ball down the field is, there's some risk involved in that, and there's certainly they are lesser percentages of throws as well. So, but we also getting first downs and scoring touchdowns is the name of the game too. So you've got to balance the two, that you can't throw caution to the wind and play willy-nilly, if you will, on offense when you are playing good defense. But at the same time, you've got to do what the defense is telling you needs to be done to win the game, and move the ball and score points. And at times we didn't do that. I think we got a little bit stubborn, as I've said before. But you know, I'm committed to making sure that it doesn't happen again.
Tom, can you put your finger on why it seems like the team has struggled offensively early in the last several games?
I mean, we're playing some really good defenses, or better defenses than we have in the past, and I mean, we're banged up. You know, we've got guys in there that are inexperienced at this point, and it takes them a little time maybe to get used to the speed of the game and kind of the flow and rhythm of the game. That's probably the best answer I have.
And are there some particular coaching friends or people in the profession that you reach out to regularly, especially maybe in times of adversity, like this weekend?
Just that, you know, my mentors, you know, Urban Meyer and Mac Brown certainly are two. You know, talked to Coach Bailiff quite a bit at Rice. He's going through some adversity himself. You know, those are the guys that I kind of lean on a little bit, and you know, this was a first for me, as first loss as a head coach, and been doing this for almost a year now, and came across the first or another first, and so needed a little bit of advice, more confirmation than advice of how to kind of handle it.
Tom, over here, do you see the quarterback decision for this week, game time thing, where it's going to go right up to Friday? How do you view it?
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it's who's ever healthiest is going to start. Really, what it comes down to. If Greg's ankle can heal to where he's close to 100%, I would imagine it'd be Greg. But if it's not, and Kyle has healed quicker, it'll be Kyle. But you know, we won't know that until you know, a few days into it, and especially on a short week, we don't have a whole lot of time to figure that out.
Given the significance of the game, how difficult is that?
It's the significance of the game doesn't matter. It's difficult anytime. You know, we're already down. We basically, you know, I think you know, we're already playing a quarterback that for the first month of the season was a receiver, and the guy he came in relief for was a guy that was a receiver for the first 2 years of his career. So, you know, we if that tells you anything, there's not a whole lot that we feel comfortable behind them, obviously, or we would go to that. We'd go to Plan D, but there is no Plan D, and so we got to make it work with one of those two guys.
On the conference call, I know you mentioned ulcer, so I don't mean to make it worse with this, what I'm about to ask you. Along those lines of Mark's question with the two quarterbacks, do you have to get into a situation where you prepare for, I mean, a lot of people don't even know who the number 3 is. Would McCoy get some work this week just in case, or, I mean?
He will, and, you know, we'll probably, you know, we had a little package for DeMarcus Ayers last year. He was a quarterback in high school, so DeMarcus will kind of expand that package a little bit in an emergency, and kind of go from there. Appreciate it. My ulcer just got bigger. We good? Okay. Thank you.